Hello, long time no see. We're here with more Wi-Fi battles, content, the whole 9 yards. I got really busy at work. I couldn't maintain the upload schedule quote unquote, but I have time again. So, we're going to compile what we've done so far for these leagues. This is LGA. This is the team that I drafted in the top right. On the left, it's basically just filled with a bunch of mons that I really wanted to use or haven't used yet, and then some filler mons that I thought complemented kind of well. Really wanted to use Urshifu Rapid, really wanted to use Raging Bolt, and I wanted to try Terra Incineroar because it's a fire starter that I have not tried Terra on yet. So this is going to be my week 1. You can see the whole team here on the right, or on the left. I'm not going to go super in-depth with everything since you can see it all here. But in general, for my week 1 matchup, I'm really trying to take advantage of my opponent's limited defensive integrity with a powerful Banded Urshifu Surging Strikes U-Turn Close Combat combo. One correct prediction with that, and he basically loses a Pokemon, or like 90% of a Pokemon. If he then wants to switch into the proper switch-in, that's fine, because a lot of these mons can't recover. His hazard removal is Fortress, which is not very great. It's prone to being trapped by Probopass, but my Probopass isn't really for that. I have Dragon Probopass at the bottom to try to check Cinderace. It helps with the Volcanion too. Pretty nice there. Kleavor Scarf, very nice to have, outspeeds everything. He can't really switch into U-turn. I'm probably just going to leave with it and click Stone Axe, depending on what I see. My Enamorous Wincon here, agility with Moonblast Earth Power, is enough to basically clean everything up from almost full. I just need to chip a couple things, like Volcanion. If it's Assault Vest, it do a lot of damage to it, which Urshifu can do. And it's Lumberry, because I don't want Prankster Stun Spore or T-Wave from that Grimmsnarl or Whimsicott. And then my Toedscruel is a very fun set. Rapid Spin, Leech Seed, Spore, and Hex. I went around with Toxic and Spore, but I settled on this set. 1, to keep me alive with Leech Seed. 2, Spore is amazing. Not enough people run Spore on their Toedscruels, so I'm trying to run Spore on my Toedscruel. And with Spore plus Hex, I can actually 2-hit KO most Annihilapes that try to spin block me, which is fantastic because, like I mentioned on the right, Webs plus his offense is actually kind of a threat to me. And then last one, I just got Assault Vest Glowbro. It has a nice Acid Spray tech to handle Calm Mind Latias, but that's about it. This team's pretty straightforward. We're going to move on to the battle. Alright, we're here with a post-com, attempt number 2, because my mic that I used to originally record the audio for this battle died on me, basically during the battle. So everything sounded, my mic was way too quiet, the game audio was way too loud, I had to just cut it all out. Silent post-com, here we come. So, he brought everything I expected, except he's going in on Leavanny and Sandy Shocks over Latias, which I don't agree with. I think Sandy Shocks is really bad into Toedscruel. This means it might be a supportive set with screens or just all the hazards in the world and trying to block against block my Rapid Spin with Annihilate. But my plan doesn't change here. I wanted to lead Kleavor basically no matter what, and I'm leading Kleavor basically no matter what. So the way this league works with Terras is it's open Terra. So during team preview, we DM each other what our Terra types is, basically. So he knows that my Probopass is Terra Dragon, and I know that he has Fairy Whimsicott and Electric Leavanny. Which, Fairy Whimsicott, fair, I expected it. That's why I brought, well, one of the reasons I brought Assault Vest on Slowbro. But Electric on Levani kind of signals to me that he's trying to go offensively with it. So there may be Manual Sun somewhere on this team. Maybe that's what Sandy Shocks is doing, trying to set Sun, set hazards, and die so it can get to an offensive Levani right away. There's some credence to that because he's leading with Sandy Shocks and I'm leading with Cleavor. And at this situation, I'm just going to click U-turn. I don't care if I reveal that I'm Scarf to him because I want to use the Scarf Cleavor. I don't want to hide it. So I'll do a metric ton of damage to him with a crit and realize that is definitely a no bulk Sandy Shocks if it's taking that much from a crit U-turn. So I was going to my Toadscruel here against his Sandy Shocks as he goes Stealth Rock, as expected. Unfortunately, that's where the good times end for a second, because as you're about to see, the Annihilate switch in is kind of obvious here.
Oh, I just clicked spin by mistake.
Yeah, that was the original audio of the battle. You can see why I had to commentate over it. But he is definitely going Annihilate, which he is. I predicted it. I even said it, but for whatever reason, my controller flicked back up, and I clicked Rapid Spin without meaning to. It's fine, though. I can just click Spore. This is the whole reason this Toadscruel set exists, right? Lure in Annihilate, Spore it, 2-hit KO it with Hex, 3-hit KO it with Hex, 2-hit KO with Hex plus Leech Seed, whatever I have to do. Unfortunately, that's all out the window now, because he's Safety Goggles. Which really sucks for me. At this point, it's still probably fine. I haven't actually hit him, so his Rage Fist is still really weak, and he reveals that Ice Punch is a move that he has on the set, which thankfully I prepped for with Yachi Berry. And I can get a nice Leech Seed off and get this thing close to Urshifu range with that. Depending on physical bulk investment, I need roughly 2 rounds of Leech Seed to blow him back with Choice Banded Surging Strikes. So I'm thinking about what I want to go into here. I feel like Drain Punch is probably his click, so I'm thinking about Slowbro for a little bit. Especially since Rage Fist is still 50 base power, it shouldn't do all that much damage. Probably about 42 to 6% or something like that. Which with Stealth Rocks is a little scary, but at least then I could get Leech Seed and heal. But I decided ultimately I'm just going to go to Urshifu. This is why I brought it. So we're just going to go into it. I don't care too much about taking a +1 Drain Punch. Annihilates usually aren't super attack invested. And I don't, judging by that Ice Punch damage, I don't think this one is either. And there we go. We see that it does very little to me with Ice Punch. It's now in range of Surging Strikes, so I'm just going to click it. Right? I mean, the Volcanion can definitely come in, so I do think about U-turn for a second, but I decided I'm not going to play with the +1/+1 Annihilate, and it's a good thing I did, because we're going to take it out right away with 3 critical hit Surging Strikes. Absolutely unnecessary. Well, actually very necessary, but very funny to get a 3-hit move that I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Post-com is annoying. Anyway, so from that damage, he most certainly knows that I'm Choice Banded, right? There's no way I'm killing any mundane Pokemon is killing that thing from that health. But he decides to go Cinderace. And I'm not all that worried about Choice Banded Cinderace. I'm not all that worried about Will-O-Wisp and Cinderace, because even if I'm burnt, I'm killing him. So I decide, fuck it, let's just kill him. He goes for Zen Headbutt. And it doesn't kill me, because Urshifu has really good physical bulk, and I obliterate him with Surging Strikes. So right away, Urshifu has made the 2 most threatening offensive Pokemon to my team just disappear. So I can kind of coast for the rest of this game at this point. I just have to make sure that I deal with Volcanion in a way where I can still handle Terra Fairy Whimsicott if he decides to go that route with it later. Just in case he decides I'm not doing Electric Levani. So now at this point, he's definitely going into Volcanion. He's not going to mess around. He's going to go to it. The Water Absorb Pokemon is here. And I'm going to switch out and preserve this for the Aqua Jet, just in case I need it later. So my Slowbro is kind of the pseudo answer to this. I didn't have a super good one in prep. I mean, Raging Bolt is a very good one, but I didn't want to bring Raging Bolt into Latias and Sandy Shocks. It just didn't feel that good. I needed the other slots for Pokemon like Slowbro, who eats that flamethrower very well thanks to the Assault Vest. Revealing that it's definitely not a spec set. I do think that it might be, seeing the damage that it did, but it seems like it just got kind of a higher roll on max special attack Modest Flamethrower. That's basically just what I'm calculating right now, trying to figure out if it is indeed specs. So at this point, I'm deciding he saw how much a Flamethrower did. He's probably going to click Earth Power. I can probably force my Toedscruel in to get the Rapid Spin off and just not have to deal with the Stealth Rocks on my Cleavor or my Landorus, my Enamorus later. And this is a Pokemon I need chipped for Enamorus. This is basically the last Pokemon I need chipped for Enamorus. He does go Earth Power, thankfully, so I don't lose my Toedscruel. And I can just click Rapid Spin. Toedscruel is kind of useless at this point, besides Spore, but he has 2 grass types, so it'd be really hard to actually Spore something. So I'm just going to let it try to spin, die potentially. He switches out, not wanting to risk any like Earth Power or anything since he hasn't seen my last move. Whimsicott's going to come in, which is fine. So I'll just get rid of the rocks, and I'll preserve this for later, just in case we need it for Sandy Shocks for whatever reason. So we'll go right back into my Slowbro. That's the one. That's the Pokemon. Since this Whimsicott can't do that much of anything to it, unless it's a Subseed set. He reveals Tailwind, though, which is something I thought about he could potentially bring. Didn't prep too hard for it, though, because my team is kind of slow, and I can't... There's not a whole lot of anti-Tailwind prep I can do besides just bulking out my Pokemon. So out comes the Volcanion. I wanted to Ice Beam to see if Sandy Shocks would come in, but I decided Acid Spray was just kind of a fine middle ground play. And it worked out for me, because now I can go ahead and hit Sludge Bomb on this thing. As Earth Power does, like, about what the Flamethrower did earlier. So I think it was a lower roll. I get a nice 2-hit KO on it with Sludge Bomb. I'm thinking about maybe switching out here, but realizing that since I don't need to Terra my Probopass and a Dragon, I'm not actually afraid of Terra Fairy Whimsicott at all. So I'm just going to stay in and Sludge Bomb again. I don't really need Slowbro to be super healthy anymore. Still thinking about it, but ultimately deciding it's worth it to just kill the Volcanion for my Enamorus than it is to save Slowbro. I get burned, whatever at this point, doesn't change anything. But we take out Volcanion. So now all that's left is a critically low Sandy Shocks, Levani, and Whimsicott. All of which can't take a hit from Cleavor, and the Tailwind is gone. Which is very good. So after some thought, he decides to go out into Levani. And I'm thinking I'm just going to swap my Cleavor hard into this. I don't want to swap Probopass into, like... To be completely honest, I don't remember if this gets Brick Break or anything. It probably gets some sort of fighting move, like weak fighting coverage. Even though Probopass would take it, I don't want to risk it. Plus, if he does go like a late game Sticky Web here, at least I get my Scarfer in now, so it's not -1. And it can threaten it with Dual Wing Beat, even though he's Terra Electric and I'm not clicking it. He has X-Scissors, and it does so much damage, dude. Like, Cleavor, you are not bulky. This is like the frailest Pokemon I've ever seen. Taking half from a Levani X-Scissor from neutral, come on, man. I get Levani's, like, okay strong, but it's only 103 attack, I think. It's something like that. Regardless, I show him a real X-Scissor and blow the Sandy Shocks away. Leaving only Whimsicott and Levani left, which means he's probably going to have to Whimsicott here to try to last ditch, see if Levani can bring some of this differential back. I'm just going to stay in and click X Scissor. At this point, it doesn't matter too much to me. I feel like I see red. I see victory on the horizon. Just keep clicking the buttons. That's the theme of this team. Just click buttons. He said Sunny Day, revealing he has both. Guess the other one was for Sandy Shocks, because I don't see... I mean, I guess it lasts longer. That's the real reason, I guess. He goes Leech Seed. Leech Seed is the only way he could really get any damage on me since I'm Scarfed, so I get it. Knockout Whimsicott. And last Pokemon's Levani. And I decide it's probably worth just staying in, not letting it set up a Swords Dance, just in case he tries to go for that. I mean, I probably could have just gone to Probopass here anyway. It's not like a +2 Levani's going to actually threaten Probopass. But on the off chance he wasn't sashed, I wanted to see if I could get another kill for Kleavor. And I could not. So Kleavor is unfortunately going to drop to Whimsicott Leech Seed. Little unfortunate, but I'm fine with that. I don't really play to farm differential unless I absolutely need to. What I do play for, though, are stunt kills, and we're about to get one right here. With, instead of going to Urshifu and Aqua Jetting, I'm just going to Terra Dragon my Probopass and let the Probopass gang collect its first kill. Because when you commit to a Pokemon like Probopass, you have to feed the Probopass, right? We can't just be sitting around idly letting Probopass sit there and not even touch the field. He's got to get a kill. He'll Terra Electric to try to hit me with something neutral. Probably doesn't have Leaf Blade at that rate. But I'm going to Terra Dragon and get rid of that neutrality entirely. And just to see, you know, look at that. Terra Dragon Probopass. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it majestic? Isn't it just, like, better than Hydrapple in every way? I'm just throwing strays out at random dragons. Isn't it just better than Goodra in every way? Look at him. Look at that. Look at that eat. Goodra can't do that. Look at this Dragon Breath. Terra Blast. Goodra can't do that. Nah, that's Probopass for you. So, we're going to start with a 5-0 victory in Week 1. Pretty good start. Nothing really to complain about here.